So it's October, which means it's Halloween month, obviously. And in co-parenting world, that can be super stressful. And so I just want to show you a glimpse into what that's like as a co-parent. So a couple weeks ago, my kids started talking about their Halloween costumes and wanted to buy them. We are a blended family, and so I'm not going to tell one kid they can buy a costume and another kid they can't because they're not spending Halloween here. We just all get costumes. So they did. They bought them. They loved them. So a couple weeks go by, and I'm like, I'm not a psychopath. I don't memorize my court order at all. And so I honestly have no idea whose year it is to do trick or treating. And so I'm like, I should probably figure that out. So I take out the court order, and it says dad gets even years for Halloween. So I was like, oh, okay, I guess, now we figure that out. And so I contact dad, just ask about details, specifics, because, that's how we roll. And he says, can he have him from 5 to 7:30? And I said, okay, well, technically you can have him overnight. That's what the court order says. And he's like, okay, cool. So now he's spending the night at his dad's house. So now after figuring out the costume and the location, I said to dad, he already has a costume here if he wants to wear it over there. And he says that they also bought a costume over there too, and that he can just decide which one he wants to wear, which, it's cool to have options. But I also sometimes feel like that is a way of making the kid choose, like, oh, I'm picking this costume because I like dad more or like mom more, even though it might not be like that. Sometimes feelings, of course, can get hurt. And I don't want to have that added layer of pressure for him. Okay, so now we have the costume, we have the day of Halloween figured out, and now that I know that I am not taking him trick-or-treating, I'm like, shoot, I really want to do something to celebrate with him. Is there any like trunk or treats or autumn festivals that we can go to where they allow kids to dress up in their costumes? That way he gets a chance to celebrate Halloween with us, even though he won't be with us the day of. So then I spend like an hour online looking up local events. And you have to see, does it fall on my day? Do we already have something going on that day? Is this, what part of town is it in? All of those things. And as you know, October is a busy month. And so that pretty much left next to nothing for us, but I'll keep looking. And then the last thing I'm going to touch on is just the emotions of all of it. It's exhausting having to think about all of these things. Most people in single unit families that aren't blended only really have to think about the costume and the Halloween plan. But if you're co-parenting, you have to think so far in advance about all the details like the costume, the day of Halloween plans, other plans if you're not the parent celebrating, how to integrate other siblings into it. And, I was kind of getting a little emotional thinking about Emma not trick-or-treating with her brother, and us watching Emma trick-or-treat and how fun and exciting that is, but then also knowing like a little piece of our family is missing. And so as somebody who is 8 years in, you definitely get better about being flexible, but I think the underlying emotions can still be there. So finally, if you're somebody who is struggling with the holiday plans, coming up with them, navigating them, getting through them with your emotions, or you just need help in general with divorce or co-parenting, feel free to reach out. And my website is shaunawardencoaching.com.